Hey guys, I see William. I see Jace. Welcome. I see Jace says happy. Um, Hello everyone. Happy weekend, says William. And happy weekend to you, my friend. Have a happy weekend. Hey Kat. This says that this weekend
Learn how to reprogram your shot.
be um, full of joy and positive energy. Amen to that. I want to piggyback. I don't want to piggyback with you guys. I want to piggyback from Kat says meow and meow. Hey, just talking to you. Um, on Let's make that seamless transition from Cat and Jack's live stream. I'm putting on my shoes, guys, because then I'm heading right out the door. It has been raining all night. We had a tornado somewhere in the neighborhood. I don't know where. I got a warning right as I was going to bed. And again, I was given that choice. Do I try to gather out my cats who are not gathering material? No cat likes to be gathered, let alone two cats at once, and head down into the basement? Or do I wait out the possible tornado with my cats? If my cats can't go to safety, I don't go to safety. So I did that last year. I'm doing it again this year. Anyway, it was raining and now it's not. So I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity. Before I start about talking what we were talking about over at Cat and Jack's, if you guys don't mind, sending some prayers to my stepdaughter's little tiny puppy dog. It's a long-haired chihuahua. I was going to call it a fluffy chihuahua. We can call it a fluffy chihuahua. It's fluffy. She's a wonderful little puppy. And she's 15 or 16 years old, I think. She's not doing too well. I got a message last night that she's not well. And she asked me for prayers. And she asked if I could mention prayers here in our little community. Um, she is definitely an emotional support dog, emotional support companion for my stepdaughter, who has been through so much. Not my story to tell, but you guys would just not even begin to. Um, your heart would break, as I know, and as I know it would. Cookie, dog's name is Cookie, um, and when my stepdaughter would go to school, when I was still living in the house, um, she would put him in her crate, and then I would sneak in the room and take her out uh, and feed her treats and hang out, and we'd have a good time together. So, hey, Michael. Michael says, hey, everyone, can't stay. I'm going back to sleep. Hey there, Yogi. I'm glad y'all made it. I'm glad you made it too. Glad y'all made it out of the tornado. Okay. Thanks. I don't know if, we got a tornado warning, which is different than it said that there was tornado in the area. It didn't say, possible tornado. Funny. I went right back to sleep. I got the warning. I knew my cats were not going to be gathered up. So I figured, well, one cat was already with me. All right. Buddhism, Course in Miracles, yoga, monasteries. And then I want to dive into something in Course in Miracles. Here was one of my realizations. As much as I love yoga, I thought about the Self-Realization Fellowship, which is the fellowship that was organized, founded by Paramahansa Yogananda, who was a great teacher. And I was sure that was my path. I was going through the lessons I did there, getting the lessons sent to me back when things were sent in the mail. And I did them literally, religiously. Um, and as I started to consider their monastic program, uh, I started reading the little bylaws that you committed to only the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda and not to other teachings unless it was sanctified. Especially, they said channeled material. I don't believe the Course in Miracles was channeled. I believe it was received. But it was a valuable and important path for me, obviously. So I couldn't rightly make that claim. I wanted to, if I went into something, I wanted to do it with my whole heart. Um, I was also very interested in Buddhism. Didn't consider myself a Buddhist and still don't. Um, but the Buddhist path has offered me many, many insights. I did consider Buddhist monasteries, and I was, when I first met Mocha, when I met Mocha, I was only a little over 2 years sober. Didn't think I was quite ready to emerge into the regular world and participate, but I was drawn to Mocha. It's a whole nother story. Those 23 years, you've heard some of it. Um, but here's what I realized with my practice of A Course in Miracles. It's an inner sanctuary. It's an inner monastery. It is not one that we um, retreat from the world, because you need those holy relationships. You need the ability to transform a special relationship into a holy relationship. Otherwise, you're not truly practicing the Course, you're just studying it. And A Course in Miracles, Buddhism, and yoga are meant to be embraced, not as a retreat, not as I can't handle the world, so I'm turning away. You can, in yoga, they say you go through the householder part of life before you hand everything over to God, and then you join a monastery. So, my thoughts on monasteries: are you looking to escape the complexities of life? Are you looking for a hideaway? And I certainly was. And to an extent, if I were to reconsider uh, that monastic lifestyle, or I committed, actually joining, it would be one of retreat. I would be tending my wounds, which is okay, but it's not honest. You know, if I join a monastery, it's going to be because I was drawn to be there, not because that I am retreating from my pain. Hey, Emma. So, more than anything now, I want to embrace what comes to me, open hearted, receiving the pain as well as the joy, and tend to myself, tend to those wounds, uh, look at the special relationships that I've made, and begin the act of transformation. Can I transform this? Can I truly transform this into a holy relationship? Because that's my path of salvation. You. You are my path of salvation. Dealing with the nitty gritty, dealing with that hurt my feelings, uh, dealing with my projections, that I'm projecting all this crap upon you. Thank you for showing it to me, because now I can heal it. Emma says, on this morning, do you have a Discord? I sort of do, but I don't go there. I don't even know where they are any longer. I don't know how to sign up. How you sign up? I don't know how to either. Why are you saying so confusing? Like you are talking about like your body, like your bones and stuff like that. Stuff I don't know. You're talking about like your body, like your bones and stuff. Um, I don't know. I talk about all kinds of weird stuff. This is a weird place. It should come with a warning. Only enter if you are truly weird and ready to hear weird stuff. William says you can by tricking the cats. They're actually sort of afraid of the basement. They don't like going down there. "25 years in Kansas, tornado warnings, and watches come as natural as breathing to me. We get them more and more. We had them as a kid, and we ignored them. They never happened. Now they happen every year. I had a tornado right in my backyard. Hey, Sniper. Sniper, how's everything? Case says, mushy peas. We discuss those sometimes, Emma. I don't. You guys still. and force my participation. Oh, Emma, you're not stupid at all, my friend. Hey, you came here and you asked some really good questions. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here, Emma. If you enter once, Emma, you are a valuable part of our community, essential, needed, and you're loved. I don't know if Kat and Jack is still here. She might be busy getting ready for work. But I can hear Kat saying right now, I actually hear her voice saying, Emma, we love you. I can hear her say, Emma, I love you. Thank you for being here. So, on behalf of Kat and Jack, Emma, we love you. Emma, I love you. Thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoy this day. So there you go. Sniper says, Emma Perry, and no, you're not. Emma says, I'm weird sometimes. You're going to fit right in. I talk more stuff, and I'm used to it. My family used to it, and I'm still learning how to read because some people do not understand my words. But we're here. Be as weird as you want to be. Hey, Susanna. Good morning, my friend. So, yeah, messy stuff. Relationships. They're hard. Hey, Not Your Chatty says, I embrace weird. Well, then welcome in. You're at home. But it's how we heal. I will not heal. Those things won't come to the surface unless someone presents them to me, unless someone shows them to me. We think, oh, great, I'm ready for a holy relationship. Let's make it nice and easy. Wouldn't it be nice if it worked that way? Paul says, hey, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, my friend. Emma says, a tornado, what do you live in? What state? I live in Maryland. Emma lives in North Carolina. I've been in a tornado before, but we had a hurricane yesterday. Wow. 2 months ago. And we had a flood warning, but we don't get tornadoes. It seems now that almost every state is getting tornadoes. Had one in New York. We had one in Baltimore City. They happened in New Jersey. We never used to get them in this part of Maryland. Simple says, Old English word noun weird, which literally meant fate or destiny, referred to the force that sets events in motion or determine their course. So we're going to bring up the course real quick. Emma says, wait, that's nice. Thank you. I don't know why I'm so happy you say that. Which part? Hey, you know what? No need to know why you're happy. Just be happy. Paul says, had a squirrel. Nacho says, you mentioned last night something about us being spiritual beings have a human experience. Does that mean reality is more or less a simulation? What's your take on simulation theory? Simulation theory, this is just my take. Simulation theory, a simulation would still be part of the dream. We're dreaming a simulation, a dream within a dream. When you wake up, when you see through the dream, you just see pure reality, which is oneness. No distinctions made, perfect, seamless, and absolute love. However, as extensions of that love, we somehow, for some reason, had that thought. Course in Miracles calls it a tiny mad idea. In yoga and Buddhism, Maya, the dream world, hallucinatory. We are hallucinating a world, and within that hallucination, that dream, let's call it a dream instead of hallucination or an illusion. Within the dream is a simulation. But When you see, and you can, if you explore it deeply, if you go into a deep, deep meditation, you get this, oh wow. And there's no one there saying, oh, and there's no one there saying, wow. There is literally just beingness, stillness, absolute love. You can get there through a lifetime of practicing forgiveness as well. One forgiven moment, and you can see. So, simulation keeps you trapped within the illusion, just gives you a surface. Every single theory, and even the theory of a theory, even the theory of an illusion, even the theory of A Course in Miracles, let them all go. Practice kindness, practice forgiveness, meditate. Maybe do some yoga in the morning. Um, and that sums it all up. For me, for someone else, I don't want to get bogged down in all those theories. I don't want to get bogged down because it keeps me from being, I don't want to say it keeps me from being kind, but it keeps me from always returning back to my objective. I don't want another theory. I don't want another thing. You know what I mean? I just want to be kind. I just want to forgive as these things come up. I'd rather be happy than be right. I'd rather be at peace than think in terms of um, anything else. So for me, everything comes back to that beginning of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. The one thing I'm interested in is the peace of God. So anything that comes up, if it can be threatened, if it's not of love, hey, big Al, I just let it go. All right. Emma says, okay, I'm not going to school today. Anyway, because of a teacher's birthday, I'm not ready for high school. What is high school look like for you when I was a kid? Not very pleasant. I went to Catholic school my first year, and then I was not so politely and not so kindly asked to never come back. I went to another high school, not so successful, so I moved up to Pennsylvania to live with relatives, and wanted to make a go of it up there, and I loved my time. I was in the mountains, but I was running wild. I was hitchhiking all over the state. I had a cousin pick me up in New York, in the Finger Lake area. He was driving by and he saw, and he's like, isn't that my cousin Eric? Picked me up and took me back to where I was staying. And my cousin who I was living with, said, um, you either need to go back home or get a job, because her son, who was my age, wanted to do everything that I was doing. And man, no one should be doing what I was doing. So I went back home, tried high school again. It did not work. I found myself with some friends wandering down to Florida, hung out for a little bit, came back home, took my high school equivalency, signed up, went to community college, which was much more successful for me. So yeah, high school wasn't great. I tried playing football. I tried wrestling. Um, they just didn't hold. For one, with wrestling, which I really enjoyed, uh, I was put on academic probation, so I had to quit the team. Football, I could care less about football, but I liked practice. I liked working out with the team. That's my high school career in a nutshell. Oh, and Grateful Dead, and all the stuff that came with that. Uh, so if this was a dream, can we hack it? Go lucid? We can, but not in the way that you're thinking. How do you go lucid? Clear seeing. Clear seeing. When you see only shared innocence between all of us, when you see all of us are aspects of that one godhood, you've hacked the dream. You've entered into reality. But the thing is, if we think that the dream is separate from where we are right now, if we think of it as outside ourselves, it's our projection. So that means waking up. Lucidity is here and now. Lucidity is being here, being now. Great questions, Nacho. Emma says, oops, I read that. Emma says, so when you when you like a kid, like a teenager, do you know a lot of things in high school? Because my first time going to high school next year, I'm not ready for high school. I don't want. Hey, you don't have to know anything you don't know, if that makes sense. Because you'll learn. You are prepared. You are being prepared right now. Hey, Max, you're being prepared for high school right now. So when you go into high school, you'll be ready for it. And ask for help. Ask for a support system. Ask your teachers. Let them know. Ask your guidance counselor. Ask your parents. If you have siblings, older siblings, ask them. Ask your friends to stick by you. Emma says, I heard about it on Facebook and to talk about tornadoes. Oh, every state, the news, we're talking about a tornado, but never happened here. Happens quite a bit nowadays, unfortunately. Guys, I got about 6 minutes. Morning, Max. Max, our last couple conversations, we've been talking about healing. You've been much on my mind, my friend. Nacho says, in terms of oneness, does that imply that we are God? Doesn't imply that we are God because there's no we that could be God. It implies that there's only God. This is why in the deepest tradition of yoga, Advaita Vedanta, Advaita means not two. Because we can't even say perfect oneness without the implication that there's a split between who's saying it, the observer and the observed. There's just that the quantum soup of everything happening at once. The observer is the observed. So we say not two. And Course in Miracles is pure non-duality. There's God, and there are thoughts within the mind of God, ideas within the mind of God, which is you and I. And somehow within that mind of God crept the tiny mad idea, what would it be like if we were our own creators? What would it be like if we were separate from God? If we created ourselves, created our own world? And when that tiny mad idea came in, we forgot to laugh at it. The absurdity, the impossibility that could be anything other than this. Perfect heaven, pure oneness. But since we forgot to laugh at it, and since we as thoughts within the mind of God are endowed with every single creative power of God, except for one, the inability to create ourselves as we were already existing as thoughts of God. We fell into that deep sleep, and we dreamed this world into existence. So the way we forget this world, the way that we forget that tiny mad idea, is through forgiveness. Forgiveness says, oh, I see deeper than the dream. I see the reality residing within you. Thank you for that opportunity, for allowing me to see. That's forgiveness. Yoga, Emma, yoga means, I'm sorry you're bored, Emma. Yoga means, hey, Skits, literally, in Sanskrit, it means union. It's translated as yoke. And yoke is a word that was used in the horse and wagon days, that we would yoke oxen or horses or mules to pull a wagon. We think of it in terms of yoga as to yoke, to bring together that which seems separate for the realization of oneness. Emma says, please stop ignoring me. Oh, I'm not ignoring you, Emma. I'm trying to pay attention to everyone and as well, address some questions. But I would never ignore you. Oh, I don't have a favorite game. Well, let's say life. Life itself is my favorite game. Don't do Roblox. Don't even know what it is, except that people talk about it. So, hey, Emma, if you ever come back and visit, and if you ever feel ignored, use capital letters. Catch my attention. Throw a tennis ball at me. Jump up and down. Wave your arms. Poke Jace in the chest and say, Jace, get Eric to pay attention to me. Ask Kat to gently get my attention. Tell William to send me or Squirrel Sniper to send me a personal message saying, hey, quit ignoring Emma. We'll take care of it. Paul J says, just sub to your skits. Nice. Matt says, I wonder if the game of life is a simulation. Again, for me, thinking in terms of simulation, it's just another dream within the dream. It doesn't serve any ultimate purpose. Awakening from the dream is the one and only purpose for me. So I always just return back to that. You want to wake up from the dream? Practice forgiveness, practice kindness. Kindness is difficult. Everyone's going to present you an opportunity where you choose not to be kind. Choose to be kind. And then see what happens to the ego. When you examine it, why am I being kind? Am I being kind to gratify the ego so I can tell everyone, look at me, such a kind person? Or are you viewing the ego and saying, the ego doesn't want to do this. Ego wants to put me first. George Harrison wrote that on Let It Be. For those who don't know who George Harrison is, he was the guitar player of the Beatles. Let It Be was a great album. Didn't start out to be a great album. Wonderful songs, but the producer, Phil Spector, who recently passed away, not a good man, spent his last few years in prison. He created what was called the wall of sound. There should be no silence between notes. There should just be more sound and more sound. The Beatles embraced it, didn't like it. So they later did a stripped down version, taking that out, and it's beautiful. Your music needs the space. It's the space between the notes that makes the song. It is the space within a vase that holds the flowers. All right. Nacho says, hey Max, tell him to read my caps. There we go. Nobody says. So God is obviously pure love. Obviously. Well said, my friend. Way to capitalize. But what about hate? Destruction? Hey, if there is pure love, can there be an opposite? Because to have hate would be an impurity, which means it wouldn't be pure love. Man, you hit on such a key thing. That's why we say not to Advaita in yoga. As soon as you enter something in, it is either love or it's not real. Only love is real. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. So you recognize this isn't real. And you turn back to love. You recognize this isn't real and you forgive. You recognize this isn't real and you choose to be kind. All the horrific things also all God? No, they're not. That's the key. They can't be. All of those are projections. There could be no horrific thing without the participation of people doing horrific things because they believe that doing something horrific is the way to go. Yet if it was seen as a dream, if it was seen as a hallucination, we would withdraw the projections and we would no longer perceive a world in which any of those horrific things were possible. It would be an impossibility if we kept returning back to that oneness. Every single horrific thing, even the most horrific thing that we can think of in the last 150 years, didn't have to happen, except for our direct participation. And someone might say, I didn't do that. If it appears within consciousness, you participated. You participated in the allowance. If you're not waking up, you're not waking up. Let's wake up together. That's why the path of A Course in Miracles says we're all in it together. I don't awaken without you, and you're providing me my opportunity to awaken. Imagine the atrocities of the Holocaust. Imagine if we collectively woke up and said, no. No. This part of the dream I will not choose. I will choose forgiveness. Collectively, we withdrew our projections. We returned to that unity of love. It would have been impossible. All right, guys. I gotta go. Let's see. Nacho's jumping up and down. I hope I covered that. But if we're all one, if they aren't God, wouldn't that imply that there is something separate from oneness? It would. If they aren't God, they're not real. They're part of the dream. Remember, the dream isn't real. The dream is a dream. If you practice meditation, and in a short period of time, you start to see that the illusoriness, which I'm not exactly sure is a word, but I like using it, the illusoriness. Things start to shimmer. You start to see through them. You start to sense light. Everything shining, glimmering, in a unicity, which is a word, unicity, and I love it. I don't get to use it often, though. So thank you for allowing me to use that word unicity. So you're absolutely right. If they aren't God, they're not real. So keep coming back to that. Keep coming back to that. Emma says, where's your favorite game? Do you play Roblox or Fortnite? I don't. My favorite game is YouTube. My favorite game is pretending that I'm a yogi, that I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, that I'm an Ericingness, going through my day, acting as Eric. I'm pretty good at it. Trying not to be so good at it. Max says, if illusoriness is not a word, it should be. Well, let's make it so. I can add it into the Eric Nees dictionary. My linguist friend Max speaks it well now. Semper says, that's the illusion. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jace says, be blessed. I'm going to be on the lookout for you, Jace. Jace and the Burpee Reaper, two legends in the game, coming together, head to head, joined on a mission of absolute, you get it? Absolute victory. Together. See, absolute. Do you get it, guys? Because they're doing core. Come on. That was pretty clever. That was pretty funny. Cat and Jack, are you still there? This is my ego standing up saying, Cat, Cat, hey, Cat, Cat. Do you see what I did? Did you laugh? Absolute. You know, abs. Nacho says, hi, Anna. Hi, Anna. Anna, how are you? Our good friend Anna is here. Max says, I'm hoping to compile an introductory manual to Eric Nees sometime between now and 2035. Plenty of time. Of course, I'll be adding to it all the time, so it's going to be hard. Yep, Squirrel Cypher says, Emma Perry, it's called nature. Yep, and that's where I am heading right now. The sun is peeking through. Hopefully the clouds are parting. Anna says, I'm good. Thank you, Yogi. How are you? I'm good, Anna. Thank you. Yoganese. Yoganese. We can revise it with new editions every blue moon. Okay, I'm in. I'm in. All right, guys. I'm heading outside. Be on the lookout. Jace and the Burpee Reaper. When I say two legends in the game, I'm not exaggerating, guys. Most especially when it comes to core. Namaste, Max. Max, I hope you're well. I hope you're better. Sniper says, I'm laughing if Cat ain't. Thank you, Sniper. Anna says, I'm subscribed to Max. All right. Hey, guys. Thanks. Hi, Easy. Easy Home Cooking is here. Hello, my friend. I appreciate the like. Max says, thanks, Eric. Hey, Nacho, Paul, Emma, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for the opportunity to address these questions. I don't want to say answer. I don't have answers. I just have what's working for me. And I present it as a tradition that might work for you too. But maybe not. Maybe Buddhism will work for you. In essence, Buddhism says really the same thing that A Course in Miracles says, with the exception of how to escape. from the dream or awaken. Let's use the word awaken. Same with yoga. Yoga says we awaken through awareness, and the entirety of the yogic practice is to bring awareness to that which occurs moment by moment by moment. We do it through the use of the body, asanas, working on that subtle energy system, matching its subtleness with our own. We do it with the breath. We do it through meditation. Everything leads to meditation, bringing awareness to that which is occurring. Everything changes through awareness. If you don't realize what the 5 kleshas, the 5 states of mind that all of us share, you don't realize that there's absolutely no such thing as free will when the mind is drawing you in all these directions. The direction of attachment, the direction of aversion, the direction of fear, the direction of ignorance, that we don't even know all of this is occurring. And you only see that through the clarity of meditation. When the mind gets very quiet and you see the passage of thought and that which allows thought to pass through, everything begins to change. It was that allowed meditation. It was that meditation that allowed me to start seeing with clarity A Course in Miracles. And it was A Course in Miracles that allowed me to see the clarity of yoga. The two were coinciding very nicely with me. Buddhism offers the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, ending with meditation. Right mindfulness, right meditation. Last two. So it all comes down to stilling the mind, at least a little bit, to see that we are not our thoughts. Hi, Vamps. Goldie, my friend. We're ending the live stream. I'm glad that we stayed up long enough for you to pop in and say hi, my friend. And it says, okay, easy, I will watch it. Oh, you got a new cooking video? I'll head over there too. I'm going to bring you up now so that your channel will be up when I get back from my walk. We'll be hanging out with Easy. And there we go. This is the last one I see is from 3 days ago. All right, guys. Oh, Vamps is lurking in the background. I appreciate that. William says, good day all. Good day, William. Hey, Vlogs. Vlogs, I'm doing good. Ending the live stream, though, so I can get outside. Max says, Paul, I think you got to be mod to click on my channel. But don't worry, you're not missing out. I don't have any videos. He's a great friend to have, though. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you later.